Travel is a muscle that will atrophy if you don't continue to use it. As you get older, travel becomes harder physically and emotionally, becomes more daunting. And then that builds on itself. So then the more anxiety that you end up feeling around the idea of travel, the less likely you do it. And then that is a snowball reaction. So if you, and this could relate to traveling short distances, like a fly to another state to visit loved ones, or traveling abroad for big adventures. I actually experienced this myself this last summer when I finally I finally traveled abroad for the first time in years because of the pandemic, because of life, everything. So I booked a trip to France for my daughter and I. What I did realize is that as soon as we were finally flying to France, and it was the first time I'd flown into a country that didn't speak English in a very long time. I've done lots of travel, but there's been a huge block where I didn't travel. I suddenly felt completely stressed out. Like I forgot how to travel to countries that don't speak English. Even though I've lived in one for a year, I just, I forgot how it works. And I thought, oh my God, how are we going to do this? And thankfully, that muscle memory came back as soon as we landed, and I was forced to communicate with cab drivers and forced to communicate with the Airbnb host. Like suddenly you figure it out. And of course, you figure it out on the fly, but the stress I felt leading up to it showed me that if I let that go even longer and then used that stress and anxiety not to book a trip because it just seemed too scary and I just couldn't be bothered to deal with it right now, whatever the deal is, I could see how that could become a permanent thing in my life. And in addition, you want to keep in mind that retirement age is 65. So, yes, you can travel before, but it's only during vacation periods or if you can afford it. After retirement is when you suddenly have this freedom and possibly disposable income to finally take advantage. But you need to make sure that you have the mental capacity and physical capacity to do it. So, do you want to be the person that you could picture being 65 plus years old, going on safari in Africa and taking cruises and taking advantage of time visiting loved ones? Or do you want to be the person who just can't because it's just too much? It's just too daunting, or it's too fast paced now, or the idea of getting through the airport is really stressful. Pick who you want to be and make sure right now you're looking out for that future person. Because I promise you that travel is a muscle that will atrophy if you don't use it.